Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Puma Fusion Nitro Spectra. And this shoe is going for 130 bucks, so if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started right off with the tracciones. And as far as the traction goes, in my first impressions, I thought it was going to be freaking amazing. You know, it was sticking really well to my wood floors. But right when I took it to the basketball court, you know, on the indoor wooden floor, it was still really good. You know what I mean? So on a clean court, it has a very good bite. You know, it sticks like glue, but dust is definitely an issue, right? So if you're playing on a clean court, you should be fine. Definitely expect top tier traction. But if you're playing on a dusty court, it wasn't terrible, but also wasn't good. And it was kind of annoying actually, because it affected the traction like a lot. You know what I mean? Like there's some shoes where it doesn't affect the traction that much even when there's dust. There's also some shoes where it doesn't affect it at all. And there's also some shoes where it's like it affects it a good amount, but like not to the point where it's like terrible, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what this shoe is. So I mean, like on a dusty court, it wasn't like I was slipping out or anything, but it just wasn't a good bite. And even when I wiped, I feel like it just didn't want to bite through that dust that much, you know what I mean? And wiping, it wasn't terribly hard, you know. But I feel like once I wiped, I got like 1 or 2 good stops, you know, like a nice little squeak, and then it just like picked up dust again, and it was just like, that sucks, I gotta wipe again, you know what I mean? So if you're playing on a dusty court, just probably stay away from the shoe. I mean, if you're used to wiping, then you should be fine, or I guess like if traction isn't a huge priority, then it should be okay. But as far as like on a dusty court goes, it wasn't the best for performance with this shoe. And also for durability, it's probably going to be very bad in my opinion. Like if you feel it, these grooves are super thin. The grooves are deep, but it's just like really soft too. Like it's just moving with my fingers. I don't think this is gonna be durable at all, especially on an outdoor court. I've been playing on an indoor court only, and it doesn't seem like there's like any type of bad wear or anything, so you should be fine on an indoor court, but definitely do not play with it on outdoor court. So as far as the traction goes, it was good, just not the best on dust. Alright, as far as the heel to toe transition goes, it was nice. You know, here in the heel though, it felt a little clunky just because it is very heavily caged with this plastic piece here in the heel, right? It's not fully exposed, which sucks. So yeah, when you kind of like strike the ground with your heel, it is kind of clunky, but this rounded shape definitely does help kind of like transfer that motion and that energy. It feels a little clunky, you know? And then here in the forefoot, we have a very nice curved shape as well. Puma does this really well, and we have a lot of forefoot flex. So as far as the overall heel to toe transition, it's like pretty damn smooth. It's just a little clunky here in the heel. And as far as arch support goes, arch support also isn't the best, right? So if you guys take a look, I can literally bend the shoe in half. Look at that. Right, and I'm not 100% sure if there is a midfoot chain plate. I mean, it's not 100% necessary, you know what I mean? But if you do have pre-existing conditions, you know, if you have like a strained fascia in your foot, or if you have like weak tendons in your foot, or you just have pain in your feet in general, then it's probably not the best option to not have a midfoot chain plate, you know? Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if there is or isn't, but with the way the shoe is bending, I don't think it is. And for me personally, and from personal experience, just like before, you know, when I was younger, I never really had to worry about that. But now that I'm getting older, like my feet are getting like, I'm definitely feeling it, you know what I mean? So when I'm playing, especially my right foot for some reason, I felt my arch hurting a little bit, as opposed to when I'm like playing in a shoe like the KD14 for example, or the Jordan 36, which has good arch support. My fascia doesn't hurt like nearly as much. And then I switch into this shoe and it starts to hurt a little bit. So obviously it's not a huge issue, like I said, if you don't have any issues with that, but if you have pre-existing conditions, you should probably watch out for that. All right, as far as the cushioning setup goes, we got full length nitro foam. Woo, it says nitro here in the heel. And how does it feel? It feels okay. So you definitely feel compression, right? But it's only from like the side here. Like I said, here in the heel, we got crazy caging coming from this plastic. It's like, it's not even a soft plastic. It's a very thick, very hard plastic, which sucks. Why would you guys do this, Puma? I don't know. Like, if you make a nice foam, just please don't cage it, guys. Like, even like pressing with my fingers, it feels nice. It doesn't feel too soft either, you know. It just feels like a nice little like compression, you know. There's a nice little give to it. But yeah, I mean, as far as like actual compression goes from the actual midsole, there's really none, especially here in the heel. Like I said, it's more just like on the sides, but you're never really doing this. You know what I mean? So that kind of sucks. As far as the cord feel goes, cord feel is good, especially here in the forefoot. It gets a little bit thicker here in the heel, so there is a little bit of an offset, but that's normal. The insole is pretty nice. You know, you have a nice, like, I guess kind of thick horse light insole, but if you look and feel underneath the insole, there's a very stiff strobel board, right? So step in comfort, I guess you get a little bit of something from the insole, but right when you kind of like bottom that insole out, you get a stiff strobel board. So yeah, the step in comfort and underfoot cushioning isn't very nice, right? I would say there's a little bit from the Nitro, just a tiny bit, but overall I would say it's mostly stiff. So as far as the overall cushioning setup goes, I would say impact protection is okay. Step in comfort, not the best. It's a very responsive cushion and you're low to the ground, which is good. So if you're a guard and you want a very quick feeling cushioning setup, then this is a great option. But if you're looking for something a little bit more from your cushioning setup, you know, like compression or like a little bit of balance or something like that, then you're not really gonna get it a whole lot from this shoe. All right, moving on to the materials, we got Fusion Fit. And I don't know, they just named it, you know what I mean? But it's actually a nice knit material, right? So if you look at the material, we actually, it kind of acts like a shroud, right? So this material kind of goes over this tongue, and then there is a tongue that kind of connects to a material that goes underneath this upper, so you get an overall better one-to-one fit. But this knit material is super nice, and as you guys can see here in the toe box, it is fused up, which I mean, you would think that's terrible, you know, like, oh, there's a nice knit, why would you fuse it up? But it's actually not that bad, you know. This fuse feels extremely thin. It doesn't really feel like it makes the knit like any stiffer or anything, or flimsier or cheaper feeling. So here in the toe box, it's just really thin. It conforms to your foot. It's really comfortable as well. And then kind of like on top of your foot in the midfoot, and also kind of like in the toe box area, just a little bit, it is a very nice and stretchy knit upper, right? And it says there is a compression band, you know, and it's not really a compression band, as opposed to like the entire thing is a compression band, you know what I mean? Because I feel like they're trying to give it like a little bit of an illusion right here, because you guys can see the multicolored kind of like band, but this entire knit here is stretchy, right? And which obviously that's a good thing, and it stretches over your foot. It feels really nice. The tongue has a good amount of padding, which feels nice and comfortable on top of your foot. And then here in the ankle area, on top of the ankle collar, we have a good amount of padding, which feels very nice and cozy as well. So I really like the materials, right? Here in the toe box, extremely thin. It stretches over your foot. It's comfortable. And here in the ankle area, as well as the tongue, we have a good amount of padding, which feels comfortable and cozy, but just not too much to where it feels a little bulky, right? It's just the right amount for me personally. So I really like the materials. I don't think the fuse or anything was a bad idea, because I feel like they did it really well. So overall, I really like the material, and also the quality is really good, especially for 130 bucks. As far as the fit goes, it fits my foot like a glove. It's really snug. So here in the toe box, really snug. Lengthwise, true to size was good for me, and also widthwise, slightly narrow. So yeah, I mean, if you don't like a snug fit, you should probably go up half a size. All right, moving on to support and lockdown. As far as the lateral containment goes, I had no issues with that. Here in the forefoot, doesn't seem like it's gonna be very good, but I really had no issues with my foot sliding onto the footbed here in the forefoot. Here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, as well as the foam coming up a lot, acting as a sidewall. So lateral containment, I was good. Lateral stability though, it's not the widest shoe. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. There's really no outrigger. The midsole doesn't really protrude out all too much. So, I mean, I had no issues with my foot like rolling or anything, and it didn't feel unstable. But it doesn't feel like the most stable shoe. Like for example, the Curry 8, the Curry has very good lateral stability. It's super wide. If you guys can see, there's like a good like centimeter, I would say, right? It's like a good amount wider, right? So, I mean, like I said, I didn't have any issues with that, but I definitely think they could have added something there, you know, like an outrigger, protrude the midsole out a little bit there or something like that. But anyways, nothing terrible, but you should definitely, if you want good lateral stability, this probably isn't the best option. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. Let's see. if I remember correctly, it was kind of heavy, right? Yeah, so 13.37 ounces. Let's check the left pair. 13.33 ounces, so pretty much the exact same weight. So it's a little bit heavier than normal. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, I mean, does it feel heavy? Not really. I mean, the upper, like I said, feels very minimal and very thin, but you definitely feel a lot of the weight underneath your foot. And especially this. Puma, please stop caging up your cushion so much. You don't need this much freaking caging. It just adds weight. It makes the shoe overall a little bit clunkier. And just like all of this like foam coming up as well, you know, like just go back to the Puma Clyde All Pro, man. That was awesome. It wasn't caged at all, you know. But anyways, like I said, it's not a huge deal. You know, 13.3 definitely isn't crazy heavy. I could definitely work with it, and it's a very responsive feeling shoe. You know, traction's really good. Not the best on dust, but overall it's good. Cushion's responsive, low to the ground, support's there. Fit was really good. My foot wasn't moving around in the shoe either, so. Yeah, definitely overall, it's a very nice feeling shoe. That's pretty much the only thing. I just wish this wasn't here. Alright, as far as the ventilation goes, ventilation isn't the best as far as like airflow. There's really not a whole lot of airflow. And this fuse, although the material is thin, it just keeps in that heat a little bit better than if it wasn't there. So the overall shoe is a little bit hot. Now moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. This shoe looks great. I feel like Puma's doing a great job in designing their shoes. It looks like a futuristic shoe. I love the outline of the Puma logo here on the lateral side and the use of knit materials and like this multicolored band. I feel like it looks great. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Puma Fusion Nitro Spectra. It's a solid performer. I definitely enjoyed playing in it, but I definitely don't think it's an amazing shoe, especially comparing it to like the Puma Clyde All Pro. You know, the Puma Clyde All Pro, in my opinion, is just like, it's way lighter, it's way more minimal feeling. Cushion's better because it's not caged. Cushion also is nicer. You know, there's a little bit of compression and the traction is better, right? I'm not saying this shoe is bad. I'm just saying that I like the Puma Clyde All Pro better. So yeah, who would I recommend this to? I feel like most people would enjoy it. And if you're a bigger guy, you should be okay with it. But I feel like I would recommend it more for like guards. You know, someone who wants a very responsive feeling shoe. But like I said, the traction, just watch out for that on dust. And also the cushion. Not a huge fan of this caging. But anyways, that about concludes this review. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.